So you all learned this same chapter from the lower classes onwards. Statistics, it's a branch of mathematics, mainly deals with the collection of data, analysis, its organization and analysis and interpretation. All these things takes place in this chapter. So we have learned in the lower classes about the classification of data. Suppose I collected the marks of the class 10 students in a unit test. So that collection of data can be arranged in different ways. So the classification of data takes place in two different types. One is grouped frequency distribution table, another one is ungrouped frequency distribution table. So we arrange this data in two ways. One is grouped distribution, another one is ungrouped distribution that you learned in the lower classes. So now we also learned in the lower classes the pictorial representation of data. The data collected can be represented using bar graphs or even histograms, pie charts, a frequency polygon, like that many methods. So many methods you have learned to represent in the form of pictures. So it is easy to understand, to analyze the data when it is represented pictorially. So all these things you have learned in the lower classes. This is all only recalling all those things. And also you learned a data can be represented by a numerical number. For example, to understand this performance of the students in different subjects, so we take a representative value of each subject. Mathematics, its average. Science, its average. One number will represent the entire class. What is the average of your 10th A? Suppose if I say 30, if it is conducted out of 50, then another section taken 40, then we can compare which section is better. By one value we can represent. So that is called as a numerical representation of data. So it is also called as a measures of central tendency. So we have learned how to find the mean, median and mode in the lower classes. So that is for ungrouped data. You have learned all these things for the ungrouped data in the lower classes. Okay. Ungrouped data, whatever the data you collected directly, you calculated the mean, you calculate the median and the mode. Mean is the sum of all observations divided by number of observations. Median is nothing but the middlemost observation. Mode is nothing but the most repeatedly occurring number. So all these things you have learned. Now in this class we are going to, same thing we are going to extend for ungrouped data to grouped data. So we are going to extend the same thing for grouped data. So till now what you have learned, it is for ungrouped data. Now we are extending the same thing for the ungrouped data to find the measures of central tendency. These three are called as measures of central tendency. Why? So around that number, so all the numbers are clustered around that one. Suppose if I take the mean of this class 10th A is 30. So then most of these numbers clustered around this number 30. So that's why the measures of central tendency as 30, either mean or median or mode. So these are all called as the measures of central tendency. Now let us see how to find the mean of the grouped data. Before that, let us see. The mean is the sum of the values of all observations divided by the number of observations. That is the definition or the formula that you have learned. Suppose x1, x2, x3, xn are the observations. That means you have taken 5, another boy has taken 6, another one 10, 13, 14. So like that, whatever the marks that you get, so they are called as x1, x2, x3, x1. Suppose in a test, mathematics test, some students, roll number 1 has taken 5, 2 has taken 10, 3 has taken 15, another one has taken 10, 6. So like this, these are called as x1, x2, x3, x4, xy, like this. And the frequency, what is the frequency here? So 10 entered 2 times, so we can write 10 is appearing 2 times. This is called as frequency. This is x. So this is frequency, how many times it is repeating. So x1, x2, x3, xn are the observations, and the corresponding frequencies are like this, f1, f2, f3, fn. So example for this one is, say 10 here in this small data appearing 2 times, this 2 is called as its frequency. Frequency of 2. So these are the frequencies. See, to find out this sum, see 10 appearing 2 times means we have to multiply 10 into 2, it gives you 20. 20 is the sum of these two observations. Similarly, to find out the sum of all the observations, you need to multiply the observation with their frequencies. So 10 with 2, the same way x1 with f1, x2 with f2, x3 with f3 and xn with fn. So like this you need to multiply all the observations and the corresponding frequencies to get the sum of all the observations. So let us do that now. Sum of the values of all the observations, I want to find out sum of observations. As I said, multiply these observations with their frequencies. So f1 x1, it is the sum of the observations x1. f2 x2, it is the sum of observations x2. Then f3 x3, then add all these things, it gives the sum of all the observations up to nth, f1 xn. And what is the total number of observations means? Suppose I told you this small example, here this is appearing 2 times, 2 and this is 1 and 15 one time, 6 one time, total of all these frequencies gives the total number of students. So are the total number of observations. Sum of all the frequencies if you add, it gives the number of observations. This is sum of all observations. This is the number of observations. How many are there? Okay, it is sum of all the marks. It is the sum of all the students. So if you divide this one by this, then it gives you the mean. The mean value can be calculated like this: sum of all the observations divided by the number of observations. All the observations, sum of all the observations is only what? f1 x1 plus f2 x2 plus f3 x3 plus fn xn, and the sum of all the number of observations. Suppose you want to find number of observations, add all the frequencies. So it is the formula to find out the mean value. But it is very lengthy to write. In a short form also you can write this one using the sigma notation. Sigma, it is called as summation, sum of summation symbol. We say it sigma. So here, how to shorten this numerator? Sigma is the symbol, it is a summation symbol. I is the variable here, fi, xi, I is the variable we have taken. So I takes value from 1, 2, 3 up to n. I is equal to 1 to n. 1 to n means here look at the first observation with the variable is 1 and the last observation is n. So therefore we say it is 1 to n. And then in the denominator we have the variable here 1, 2, 3 up to n. So sigma, it's a summation of the frequencies from 1 to n. That is, I is a variable 1 to n. I have written it is a variable here. Fi is a variable. I. So I takes the value from 1 to n. So 1 to n, 1, 2, 3 up to n you have to add. Suppose 1 to 10 means up to 10 only, not up to n. So 1 to 3, I is equal to 1 to 3 means f1, f2, f3 only. I is equal to 1 to 5 only. 1 to 5 means f1, f2, f3, f4, f5 only. Here I have written I is equal to 1 to n. That means f1, f2, f3, f4 up to fn. So it is the sum of the frequencies. It is sum of all observations. It is a short form. So it is not necessary to write always I is equal to 1. So in general, we write in briefly x bar. It is nothing but the average, mean value. Simply we write sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. It means I is equal to 1 to n. I is equal to 1 to n. So it is the symbol we use to find the mean value in short form of writing this formula. Okay. So sigma, you remember this? Sigma fi xi divided by sigma fi. So now let us take one example related to the mean value calculation. All of you look at this. The marks obtained by 30 students, there are total 30 students. That means this is nothing but sigma fi. Number of students, sigma fi. Total students 30 of class 10s in a certain school in mathematics paper consisting of 100 marks. So there was a test conducted out of 100 marks. One are presented in the form of table below. Find the mean marks of this obtained by these students. See, 10. One boy has scored, only one boy has scored 10 marks. This is the marks obtained in the first row and the number of students in the second row. So 20, there is only one student scored. 20 marks scored by only one student. 36 marks scored by 3 students, 40 marks scored by 4 students, 50 marks scored by 3 students, 56 marks 2 students, 60 4 students, 70 4 students, 72 1 student, 81 82 2, 92 3, 95 1 student. This sum of this sigma fi should be equal to 30. If you add all these, should be equal to 30. These are the marks taken by the students. Okay, so now let us find out this. I will write in the vertical column, vertical table like this. These are the marks obtained by all the students: 10, 20, 36, 40, 50, 56, 60, 70, 72, 80, 88, 92, 95 are the marks taken by the students of 30 students of this class 10th. So now these are the frequencies. I want to find out the sum of all the observation, means I need Fi Xi, multiply the observation with the number of students, frequency. So here Fi is this one 1 and Xi is 10, 1 into 10, it is 10. So you have to multiply here to find the sum of all the observation. 1 into 10, 10. 20 into 1, 20. Fi Xi I am finding, product of the frequency and the observation. 36 into 3. What is the product of 36 into 3? 3 6 are 18. 3 3 are 9 plus 1, 10. Another 9. Then 160. 40 into 4. Then 50 into 3. 150. 56 into 2. 2 6 are 12. 2 5 are 10 plus 1. 11. 112. 6 4s are 24. 240. Then 7 4s are 28. 280. 72 ones are 72. Then 80 ones are 80. 2 into 88. 2 8s are 16. 2 8s are 16 plus 1, 17. 176. Then 3 2s are 6. 3 9s are 27. 276. 95 ones are 95. Now as I said, if you add all the frequencies, you should be equal to sum of all the students. It must be equal to 30. You verify this one. Let us check it now. 3 plus 1 4, plus 2 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 18, 21, 25, 28, 29, 30. The total students is equal to 30. Now you need to find the sum of all the observations. So the 10 marks, there is only one student, 10, 20 marks, one student, 20, 36, 3 students are there. Sum of all the marks of these 3 students, it is 108. Like this you find out all the sum, it gives the sum of all the marks of the entire class. So now if you add all these marks, you should get the answer 1860. Not 1860, 1779. You should get 1779. Add all this marks. 6 plus 5, 11, 17, 18, 19, 21, 29, 2, 11. So 18, 25, 33, 40, 48, 52, 53 plus 5, 58, 64 plus 3, something else. Okay, 1779 you should get total. So now, after finding this, let us substitute in the formula to find the mean value. What is the formula? X bar is equal to sigma Fi Xi divided by sigma Fi. So this is the formula to calculate the mean value. Isn't it? This is the formula to calculate the mean value. So now, if you substitute the values here, what is sigma Fi Xi? It is 1779. It is 1779 divided by sigma Fi, total 30 students. So you can write here. So this should be equal to X bar. If you divide this 1779 by 30, your answer will be 59.3. This is the mean value. So this is the mean value of this data. Okay. So direct method we have found out by multiplying this one. See, in most of the situations in our daily life are usually so large. You want to kind of find out the population of India or something related to the financial conditions of India. The data may be very large. To do like this, it is very difficult to do this. It is time consuming to do that one. So to study this, we need to condense the data as group data. Now it is an ungrouped data only. Directly we have taken all the marks. So all the marks we have taken here, 10, 20, 36, all the marks obtained by all the students we have taken here. It is not grouped here. So what we do, we condense this data, since sometimes it is only one classroom. For the entire India means they will take different marks. 100 marks will be there, total hundreds of marks will be there. So in such cases we need to condense the data. To condense the data, we are going to group the data. From ungrouped data to grouped data, we are going to do that one. So now how we are going to do this? The same data, say I will tell you, the same data, I am going to condense this now. So I am going to classify into class intervals, group this into class intervals. So now what I do, so just look at this same data here, I am going to condense this one. So we are going to condense this one. See, class interval. Class interval, what I did, you see the previous question. So 10, 20, 36 like so, we are going to divide this. 10 to 25 we are going to make one group. 10 to 25, how many students are there? You look at this. 10 to 25. So 25 will not be there. Up to, you can take these two. We have only 2. So that we have taken here. 10 to 25, 2. 25 to 40, 3. So 25 to 40. 25 we don't have any number here. 25 to 40 means up to here. 25 to 40 we have only 3. That 40 will not be included there. See, remember that 25 to 40 means this is called as a lower limit. We call this as lower limit. Lower limit. This one is called as upper limit. So upper limit will not see 25 you are finding in both the places. 10 to 25, 25 to 30, 40. Here 25 will be included in this group, not in the 10 to 25. So here 40, in which group it will be included? 25 to 40 or 40 to 55 means it will be included here in the lower limit. You can see 40 here also. 40 number will not be included in this group, but it will be included here. So in the lower limit, okay. So now the same way we are classifying like this. So now, so 10 to, what is the data that we are classifying? 10 to 25 we have 10 to 25, these two only. 10 to 25 we have 2 students. So the next data, so look at this. Next one here, 25 to 40. 25 to 40, look at this one. 25 to 40 means, so 40 will not be included, only 36, 3 students only. So you can write here again 3. 40 to 55, look at the data, 40 to 55, 40 to 55. So these two only, 4 plus 3, 7. So I am reducing this one, 7. Then 55 to 70, look at this data, 55 to 70. 55 to 70 means up to here, only these two, 6. So you are getting 6. Then 70 to 85, look at this data, 70 to 85, 70 also included here. 70 to 85 means these 3, 4, 1, 1, 6. So here I have written 70 to 85, 6. Then 85 to 100, 85 to 100, look at this data, 85 means these two only, last 2. Last 3. 85 to 100, 88, 92, 95. These 3 will come. 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 1, 6. So you are getting 6. Last one also 6. So like this we have condensed the data. All the numbers which are in between 10 to 25 included in this group. Between 25 to 40 included in the second group. So we are condensing that one. So this type of arranging in the form of table, it is called as grouping of the data. So from form this we are forming the class intervals. We call this as class interval. Like this grouping, it is called as class intervals. Here width of the class interval here 15, 10 to 25. Find out the difference. 25 minus 10. What is the difference here? 15. So that is called as width of the class interval. Sometimes you might take 10. 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 also you can make according to the convenience. Okay, so this is called as width. 40 minus 25, 15. 55 minus 40, 15. 70 minus 55, 15. 85 minus 70, 15. 100 minus 85, 15. So equal width for all the class intervals. Okay, so then So upper class limit here is always considered in the next class interval. Here 10 to 25, here upper class interval 25. This mass 25 will not be in this group, but instead it will be there in 25 to 40. So for example, 40, the mass 40 would be in 40 to 55, but not in 25 to 40. So here 40 will not be included, so it will be included in 40 to 55. Okay, so that is the rule while making the table, a grouped frequency distribution table. And you keep in mind, for each class interval we require a point which would serve as a representative value. So look at this. So there are two students taken 10 to 25 marks. 10 to 25 means it may be 11, it may be 12, it may be 13. Suppose two students have taken 11 marks, 11 and 12. Then where we include? It will be included in 20, 25 only. Or this is one calculation. Another case, 24 and 23 also included in the same group only. So then which one we are going to consider? 11 and 12 or 24, and if you take this will be more marks, this is a very less mark. Further, sometimes we may get less marks, sometimes we may get more marks. So we need a representative value for this class interval. It is called as a class mark. So each class interval will be represented by one class mark. So that is all the marks between 10 to 24. 25 is not included here. 10 to 24 means 10 also there, 11, 12, 13, all the marks. There are only two students scored between 10 to 24. Then which marks you have to consider? We have to multiply to find the sum of all the observations, whether you have to multiply 10 or 11 or 12 or up to 24, which number we have to take there. It is the midpoint of this class interval which represents this entire class. Whether you have taken 10 marks, 11 marks, 12 marks, or 23 marks, or 24 marks, whatever the marks you have taken, but the middlemost value, that is the class mark, we call it as a class mark, will be considered. Look at this, that is called as class mark, which represents the whole class interval. Okay, so now, so it is assumed that frequency of each class interval is centered around the midpoint. So we assume that, so whatever the mass taken, it is around this midpoint of this class interval, or midpoint of any class interval. So that's why we take the midpoint of each class interval as a representative value. So we choose that one to represent the midpoint. How to find? That is called as class mark. How to find the midpoint? This upper class limit and the lower class limit divided by 2. So you take the upper class limit 25 plus 10 divided by 2. 25 plus 10, it gives you 35 divided by 2. It is 17.5. So we are going to multiply 17.5 with 2. So this is called as Xi. Class marks are represented by Xi. Similarly, 25 and 40. We are going to add this one. 25 plus 40, it is 65 divided by 2. So 3 is 32.5. So here this will be represented by 32.5. One number represents the entire class. Whether you have taken 25 marks or 39 marks, but the mass will be multiplied by only 32.5. This is an average we are taking. So somebody has taken 39 and somebody has taken 24, then both we are equalizing that one. So as 32.5 and then multiplying to find the sum. So that's why we get an approximate. Because of that reason, you may not get the exact mean value, you may get the nearest value. This is how you find out the class mark. We represent this one by Xi. Xi is the upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. So now you see this table now. To find out the mean value, we have the class interval, lower limit, this is upper limit, number of students here 2. So what you have to do, which number you have to multiply? Earlier directly the Xi was there and with 2 you are multiplying. We don't have 10 to 24. There are 15 numbers. From 10 to 24 we have 15 numbers. Which one should be multiplied? For that we take class mark. Add these two. 10 plus 25, 35 divided by 2, 17.5. This is the class mark representing this group. 17.5 is representing the first group. Is it clear? And this second one, add these two numbers, 25 plus 40. Yes. Let us see now, what is the class mark of this one? Class mark 25 to 40. What is the class mark? Add these two numbers and divide it by 2. 32.5 will get. 32.5. Then 40 plus 55, it is 95. 95 divided by 2, it is 47.5. Add this number, 55 plus 70 divided by 2. It will be 62.5. Then 70 plus 85 divided by 2. It must be 77.5. Then 85 to 100. 85 to 100. Add these two numbers, 85 plus 100. 185 divided by 2. It gives you 92.5. As it is told, if I mark 100 as scored by one student means, then you have to increase the class interval 100 to 115. Since there is nobody who scored 100 out of 100, then let us stop here only. According to the requirement, we are going to include that the next class interval. So now we need to multiply. This is the representing value of this class interval. So now this enough. Multiply this number with this students. So 2 into 17.5. 2 into 17.5, if you multiply, then it will give you 35. Then 3 into 32.5, multiply this one, 32.5 and 3. It is 97.5. 7 and 47.5, multiply this one, 332.5. 332.5. 6 and 62.5, multiply that one. 6 and 62.5, it is 375. 375.0. Then 6 and 77.5, it is 465. Then 6 and 92.5, it is 555. 555. So this is FIXI. Now this sum of FI, it is fixed, 30 students only. You add this number, 6 3 is 18, 18 plus 7, 25, plus 3, 28, plus 2, 30. Sigma FI. Now sum of all these observations you add, you will get 1860. This is called as sigma FI XI. It is 1860 you will get. Sum of all the observations 1860. And you substitute in the formula. What is the formula here? Again, x bar is equal to sigma Fi Xi divided by sigma Fi. Sum of all the observation it is 1860. So you write here 1860 divided by 30. So your answer here 0 0 cancels, 3 1s are 3 6 are 3 2s are 62. So mean value here 62. Now you have to tell me why I am getting a different answer. See, when I did direct method, see all the numbers without grouping, what is the answer that I got? What is the answer I got? 59.3. The same numbers, we have not changed the data, but what is the answer we are getting here? 62. So in the first case, we got x bar 59.3. But here 62. Why there is a difference? What is the reason for this difference? Anybody? We are finding the difference between these two numbers. Like it.
Sir, because class mark and sir, all the students will not take the marks of class mark.
Yes, because of the class marks we are taking, we are assuming that. So all the marks are centered around this class mark. So a class mark is an approximate value, it is not the exact value. So you may get the nearest answer. So that is why this is an approximate value, this is an actual value. This is the exact value. We are getting this is exact value, but this is an approximate value. So because we are assuming that, so the difference in the values because of the assumption that the midpoint we are making, that is class mark. So this 59.3 is the exact mean value, but 62 is the approximate mean value. So it works out when the data is very large. When the very large data is there, the approximate or the nearest value is enough. So otherwise it will become very tedious and the time consuming to do all the entries, to enter all the entries to find out the mean value. So grouping, it reduces the burden. Okay. This method of doing the mean value, it is called as a direct method of doing this one. Direct method. There are two more methods. One is assumed mean method. Assumed mean method. And step deviation method. So we have two more methods, step deviation methods. So these are the other two methods, second one and third one. But this method, multiplying with Xi, Fi and dividing by Fi, it is called as a direct method. So other two methods we will understand in the next period.